I think this looks so cute. By the way, I have owned chinchillas again for an entire year now. I can't believe it's been that long. Maybe if you've got cats, these might interest your cats too. Honestly, I am living the dream. This week is not off to the best start. I ended up having to take a family member's elderly dog to the vets, and it turned out that he needed to be put to sleep there and then. So I had to do that all by myself. Which is incredibly sad, but I'm still really determined to make this a good, productive week. For my pets, I've got a couple of things I need to get done, so let's do them. So something that I have wanted to do in here for a while is have some name signs for Nimbus and Nebula. I want them kind of stuck, hanging over the edge of the shelf here. And now that I have a laser cutter, I've realised that I can actually do that myself and bring it to life, so that is what I'm gonna do. This video is in partnership with XTool to show you how I'm using their S1 laser cutter. So the S1 is enclosed yet expandable. It has a large working area of 19.6 by 12.5 inches, which can be expanded up to 118 inches with add-on accessories. It also provides top tier protection and class 1 laser safety. The machine itself is equipped with a 5-way flame sensor, so you're not going to set your office or your house on fire, and multiple safety protections in place to keep you safe whilst you're creating. For me, having this laser cutter is a game changer. For those little ideas that come to mind of things I want to create for around my house, but also looking at the larger picture, it is such a game changer when you have a small business like mine and being able to create custom products that you can change and really step up your game when it comes to running your small business and the things you can create. So if you're thinking of stepping up your own business, there is a huge market at the moment for customizable products for pets and children, like these name signs I'm going to create. There is a huge popularity surrounding these at the moment, and having an XTool can bring these to life. For me, it was as easy as choosing a font for my pets' names, deciding the size I wanted the signs, and leaving the rest up to the XTool. So I did decide I wanted the name signs to have a bit of colour to them, so I also painted them before gluing the two pieces of wood together. And to attach them onto the shelf itself, I have just used industrial Velcro, so if I do want to remove these and put them somewhere else in the future, I can. But if you would like to get your own laser cutter, whether for personal use or business use, I highly recommend the XTool S1, and I'll leave a link in the description with more information. Okay, and I'm finished. I think this looks so cute. One thing I do need to do is to bring the aircon into this room for the first time, because it's not actually been hot enough yet to need the aircon in here since the chinchillas have moved into this room when I had them this time last year, which, by the way, I have owned chinchillas again for an entire year now. I can't believe it's been that long since I adopted both of them. But yeah, they were in the other room with the aircon, so I need to move them. I need to move the aircon into this room for them, because this week it's due to get pretty hot. It's going to start getting 20 degrees and upwards, so they need the aircon. I'm sure the mice are going to benefit from it as well, and I'm probably going to come and sit in here when it gets way too hot for me to be in the rest of the house. But yeah, we're going to get you some aircon, buddy. You will still sit in your very warm hammock, because that is your favourite place to be, huh? It is. Okay. Let me drag it in for you. I probably need to move all of these free roam things, and that's fine because it's going to be way too hot for them to be running around in free roam this week anyway. Just to make room to put the aircon unit. This thing is so heavy and it's stuck on the rug. Okay, we're in. I need a plug socket though. Okay, it's going to be incredibly loud in here. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but this is the best I could do. I've just had to put the pipe out the window. Luckily, the window kind of goes the right way for this aircon to work, but I have realised that I don't have the, like, sticky Velcro thing that holds the pipe in place out the window. It's stuck on the window in the other room the chinchillas were in, and I don't think I can reuse it, so I'm gonna have to Amazon Prime one very quickly in hopes that it gets here tomorrow so it can be a lot more efficient and cool the room in here quicker than it will with the window like wide open and not blocked, if that makes sense, but anything is better than nothing. Sorry, it's really dark because I've shut all the blinds, but something else that I will also do, excuse how disgusting this towel is. It's the towel that I use to dye my hair with, but I will also just put a towel against the door to make it a bit more efficient and just trap all of that cold air in, like such. So I've had a few people ask me for an update on how River is doing, and I think the last time I updated you on here in a video, I was saying that she was starting to go to this pain specialist vet, and we were going maybe every week, every 2 weeks. Now we're not having to go back for an entire month, and I think the next appointment she is actually going to be discharged from having to go there and have physiotherapy, which is great because she's shown that much improvement. It has taken a long time. I think because it was an old injury on her back, it has taken a while for it to completely clear up, but she is doing so much better. Physically, she's doing better. The hair on her back is not sticking up anywhere near as much. There's just a teeny tiny bit that's still being really stubborn, but her behaviour has improved. She is so much better at focusing and doing things, so that is a clear indicator that she is feeling a lot better. So yeah, really happy we're on the other end of this. I couldn't see things improving at one point, but it has, and I'm really grateful to have a dog back that I can actually do things with. She's happy again. I'm not stressed all of the time. It was a huge stressor in my life trying to figure this out, and although we maybe won't ever know exactly what had happened, we do think it was like a soft tissue injury that's taken a bit of healing. But yeah, just really happy for her that her back is not hurting anymore, and we are at the end of this really long journey trying to fix underlying pain with her, that I can now start doing things again. She came with me to a doctor's appointment for the first time as an assistance dog a couple of weeks ago, which is a huge deal. So yeah, I'm really happy. So I realised I've not even told you which mice I'm keeping back from the big baby mouse rescue, and it has changed slightly because of things not quite going to plan. Of course, as soon as I start talking, Nebby decides she needs to be louder than me on the wheel. But my channel members will know this because I've been putting posts up about which mice I'm keeping, and then it's changed and I've had to make a new one. So you guys will know what has occurred. But so I was supposed to be keeping Egg, one of the dads. You guys seem to really love him, and I do too. So I was going to keep him and then 2 of the older female babies. I just said whichever mice are left and haven't been reserved and adopted, I'll just keep whichever ones don't have a home lined up, which that ended up being Blossom and Buttercup. But as you know, Egg was not able to be neutered. His heart rate was just dropping way too low to actually go through with the surgery. So I then had to reconsider what was going to be best for him and best for any of the mice that I keep. And I didn't want to burden anyone else with adopting him and having to figure out what to do with him. So he is still staying, but I did decide not to keep any female mice for the next like 2 years. However long Egg lives, I am only going to keep neutered male mice just so I can keep mice with him and not have 2 separate groups, hopefully for too long. And spoiler alert, although I'm sure you saw in my last video and all over my Instagram and TikTok and everywhere because I am obsessed with them, but we did end up having another litter of mice born, which that video is coming. That is all ready to go. I just wanted to get this one out first. But yeah, there has been more mice born, and there is a lot of males in this litter, so However they end up turning out, I'm going to keep them, hopefully manage to neuter all if not most of them, and then Egg can have some company. So still figuring out what to do with him. I think I am going to try to give him the implant. My vet seems okay with doing it, so we'll discuss all of that in a separate video. But yeah, my plans have changed slightly, that I need to make sure I'm doing the best thing I can for him, and that does mean only keeping back male mice instead. So things have changed a little bit, although the males in this next litter are looking very, very cute, and I'm just as excited to keep them as I was if I'd kept females from the older litter. So yeah, those are the plans with the mice. I'm not going to show too much of the rescue mice in this video because I feel like I've done so many things about them over the past month or so, because it's been chaos, because there's been so many new developments. But I just wanted to do this video with my own pets because they deserve a lot of the attention too. So my personal mice are all doing really good. I have not had a loss since I lost Teak a couple of months ago, and I've still got Griffin, Sphinx and Ash, the 3 brothers that are neutered, and they are now 2 years and 4 months old, which I'm just very grateful for every single day that they are still here. They've reached such a good age, especially for rescue mice, although I always find that my rescue mice do get to a much older age, especially the neutered males. So I have got them, and then I also have Cedar and Birch, my older females, and they are starting to look a little bit rough and bedraggled, but they're still good. They're still eating, drinking, running around perfectly fine, and I don't know exactly how old they are. I think they are definitely over 2 at this point, maybe closer to 2 than they are 2.5, but yeah, they are over 2 now. And then I have my youngest females, Rook, Robin and Sparrow. I don't see much of Robin and Sparrow. They are quite shy. Rook, however, is very, very bold and friendly and outgoing, which is nice. And she had a respiratory infection a couple of weeks ago, which has now cleared up with medication, which is good. And I don't exactly know how old they are either, but they are definitely now around a year old. I think they were about 6 months, 5 months when I got them, and I've had them that long, so they are now a year old. So those are the mice living in this enclosure, and if we consider the rescue mice that I will be keeping that are living separately at the moment, that is going to be 11 mice that are technically mine. That is the most I've had in a very long time, although the males are going to be living separately because of everything going on with Egg. I'm going to have 11 mice. That is kind of crazy. But to be honest, when I took on these rescue mice, knowing they would take a good couple of months to grow up and then be neutered and be separate, I really didn't think my older mice were going to live this long. I'm so happy and grateful they have, but I really didn't think most of them were going to make it past 2 years old because they don't usually. So yeah, I was not expecting to have 11 mice by this point, but I do, and honestly, I am living the dream. I also haven't even updated you with the drama surrounding trying to get Orbit a new, bigger enclosure. I've been so indecisive around which one to go for, and I really wanted one that had a cabinet and the top PVC enclosure that matched, and Zen Habitats fit all of that description, and they had a sale on the UK website, so I ordered finally the top enclosure for a leopard gecko and the matching cabinet, the black cabinet, for it to rest on, and it was just a week of stress. So they had this sale on, I placed the order, and when the enclosure was already like on the way and had been delivered, they sent me an email saying that the cabinet was now out of stock and was never ever going to come back into stock. But they hadn't asked me whether I still wanted the enclosure shipped or not, so that arrived at my house and I was just in a panic because I did not want this enclosure if I didn't have something matching for it to rest on. That was the entire point of me ordering. So I ordered from another place that had the cabinet in stock, and same thing happened. They allowed me to go through with the purchase, took the money from my bank account. So at this point I paid for 2 cabinets from 2 separate places, which wasn't cheap, and neither of them had them in stock but allowed me to buy them. I don't know if this is how most stores work, but if I have got something that's not in stock, I will not list it as in stock, and if it does accidentally go through like that, I will check with the person first before sending the rest of their order, because they might not want, you know, to have paid shipping for just 1 item if they've ordered 2, or they might not want to have an incomplete order. So yeah, I was stressing. I was also really disheartened because it had taken me so much brain power to actually decide and set my heart on having this enclosure, and then I just didn't want it anymore if I didn't have the matching cabinet for it, which apparently they have now all been discontinued in the UK. You can't get any Zen habitats in the UK anymore, so I did have to send it back and give up on that idea, and we are back to the drawing board of trying to find the perfect enclosure for Orbit long term that's hopefully going to be her forever enclosure for the rest of her life, unless standards like completely change and leopard gecko care in like 10 years is way more advanced. But yeah, back to the drawing board. That was a stressful week. With Hubble being an indoor cat, I'm always looking for ways to entertain him, and not always things that I have to physically move and play with him myself, things that he can independently interact with if he wants to. And I found these 2 toys recently. This one I got, it kind of reminds me of, you know, when they give cows like car wash brushes? That was the idea behind this. And he is always rubbing his face and his teeth on any cardboard boxes in the house. So I got him this hoping that he would do the same on this, and he is so funny when he's interacting with that. He loves it. I also picked up this one from TikTok Shop because I've tried so many like robot mechanical toys with him, and he's never really liked most of them because they tend to have a really like fake, too quick movement about them that doesn't really interest him. This one I'd say moves a lot like natural prey would. And a really good thing about this is you don't have to physically go back to it and turn it off. It has a cycle where when you first press the button, it will go for a little bit, and most cats are going to get bored after a while. It then turns back on after 30 minutes, goes again and turns off, which is great because although it makes me jump when it turns itself back on, it then gets him interested again without you having to like physically get up and keep turning it on and off. So yeah, I recommend these if you have cats. I'm always trying to find new ways to keep them entertained, so maybe if you've got cats, these might interest your cats too. actively checking my emails at the moment because I've ordered maybe the biggest order of products from my store yet. And although you can get some of them on UK Amazon, I have not seen some of these items sold anywhere else in the UK. So I'm really excited, one, to be able to provide them for you guys, but also so that I can have them too, because there are so many mice in my house and I really want them to have some of these products that I've ordered. I'm very, very excited. And they were supposed to be delivered like 2 days ago and they haven't. So I'm checking my emails every like couple of hours to see where these orders are. But I think I'm going to end this video here. Thank you so much to XTool for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to check the link in the description if you are interested in the XTool S1. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!